The big breaking story that we are getting at the moment, the Narendra Modi government's first big outreach after its less than anticipated performance in the 2024 election. The Modi government has now reached out to farmers after their polls setback in few key states. The Union Cabinet has approved a minimum support price for 14 crops. The Cabinet has approved a cost plus 50% for 14 crops. The MSP decision comes ahead of the next round of polls, which will be in Haryana and Maharashtra later this year. Remember, the opposition has been saying they will give a legal guarantee of MSP if they come to power. So clearly the Modi government, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the new agriculture minister, in focus. The cabinet now approving of an MSP for 14 crops as a step to contain the damage after they had a less than anticipated performance in the Lok Sabha election. Joining us now, Piyush Mishra, our correspondent, joins us for the very latest. Piyush, clearly one eye was on the election verdict, where in states like Haryana and Rajasthan, the BJP didn't do as well as anticipated, not even in UP and Maharashtra. So clearly they want to woo back the farmer.
Well, certainly, Rajdeep, that's one of the biggest decisions which the cabinet has taken, the Modi government has taken. And today, after the cabinet meeting concludes, Ashwini Vaishnav, who is also Agri Minister, addressed media and he announced that the MSP has been approved and it has also been announced for 14 mandated Kharif crops. He also said that the government has kept in mind that the MSP should be 5 times higher than the cost of production. So, and the MSP has also been revised in comparison to what was there in the last year. So there's a significant increase in MSP of these 14 crops, and this certainly shows as to how the government is now putting a lot of focus on the farmers' welfare. Apart from the farmers' welfare, there are 4 other major decisions those have been taken, but the biggest decision was of approving and also announcing MSP for 14 Kharif crops. Those are mandated. And I remember that the other decisions were taken about the development of infrastructure projects there in the state of Maharashtra. In aviation industry also,
right.
What we are learning is that there will be extension of airport, Varanasi airport. And but out of these 5 big decisions taken by the cabinet, the biggest was of announcing MSP for Kharif crops, and it has been increased. It has in fact been revised and it is much higher than it was announced last year. Rajdeep.
Okay, so this is of course the big decision taken. Clearly one eye on the polls and demand the farmers are making. We'll see how that plays out. Piyush Mishra joining us. Appreciate your joining us. Now let's turn to the other big story, because what is happening now is we have a heat wave. It's mid-summer or peak summer in north and central India. And the heat wave has already claimed as many as 15 lives. What it's also done is a water crisis that's unprecedented in a way, which has become a legal battle now after Haryana refused to release surplus water to the national capital. Delhi is bearing the brunt of water stress. Several parts of the city are running short of water. The heat wave has increased power and water consumption. In fact, there are power cuts now across Uttar Pradesh as well. Houses struggling with both, therefore, scarcity of water in some parts of Delhi and with power cuts in some parts of Uttar Pradesh. Today, I'm going to focus on the water crisis in the national capital. Take a look at our special report.
The national capital is parched. Water wars raging on the streets of Delhi. Delhiites are lining up in scorching heat for a few liters of water. Unrelenting heat wave is only making matters worse.
सारी जनता परेशान है पानी के बिना। केजरीवाल सरकार भ्रष्ट सरकार है, आम जनता को पानी नहीं दे पा रही है।
लोग जॉब करके आते हैं, घर में पानी नहीं होता है, खाना नहीं बन पाता है, हमारा पूरा समय बर्बाद हो जाता है।
What is upping the already high temperatures is the heated war of words between the Delhi and Haryana government over the release of water into Delhi. Minister Atishi has written to the Prime Minister and has announced that she will sit on an indefinite hunger strike from June 21st if Delhi's water needs are not met.
हरियाणा से जो पानी की मात्रा 613 MGD आनी थी, वो घटकर 513 MGD हो गई है। मैंने हरियाणा के मुख्यमंत्री को पत्र लिखा, लेकिन हरियाणा ने फिर भी पानी नहीं दिया। मैं 21 तारीख से अनिश्चितकालीन अनशन पर बैठूंगी जब तक दिल्ली वालों को उनके हक का पानी नहीं मिल जाता।
The Haryana government has hit back, accusing us of prioritizing corruption over welfare.
हम पूरा पानी दे रहे हैं। केजरीवाल ने लोगों को सजबाग दिखा दिए। भ्रष्टाचार के कारण वो जेल चला गया, परंतु लोग त्राही त्राही कर रहे हैं। उनको कोई सुविधा, कोई सिस्टम खड़ा नहीं किया। खड़ा कैसे करे? भ्रष्टाचार के अंदर लिप्त है।
BJP led a protest against AAP over the water crisis mismanagement.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी फटकार लगाते हुए आपसे पूछा था कि आपकी सरकार इलीगल टैंकर माफिया के ऑपरेशन को रोकने के लिए क्या कर रही है? कुछ नहीं। आपकी सरकार वाटर वेस्टेज को रोकने के लिए क्या कर रही है? कुछ नहीं। और जब आपकी प्रोसेसिंग पावर केवल 990 यूनिट है और हरियाणा पर्याप्त पानी छोड़ रहा है, तो ज्यादा पानी आप किसके लिए मांग रही हैं? इलीगल टैंकर माफिया के लिए।
Politics is speaking, but so is the demand for water and power in the capital. Will there be any relief for Delhi's citizens? Bureau Report, India Today.
Delhi's water emergency. Who will be held accountable? BJP ruled Haryana, denying water to Delhi as Aam Aadmi Party is alleging. Are Indian cities really unprepared for heat wave conditions? Remember, it's not just Delhi, but several parts of this country in the last couple of months have witnessed water shortages at different times. Are citizens caught in the political blame game that's taking? I'll be joined by experts in a moment. But first, let's go to our special guest, Atishi, Water Minister of Delhi. And joining me now amidst this water emergency in the national capital is the Delhi Minister, Atishi. Appreciate your joining us, Atishi. You are Delhi's water minister, and I want to ask you this. You're planning, we are told, to go on an indefinite hunger strike from Friday. Is that really the answer to the water emergency? Surely we need an answer which will go beyond going on an indefinite hunger strike. That's not going to resolve the water crisis.
Rajdeep, the people of Delhi are parched for water. Delhi is falling short of its water production by almost 100 MGD, which translates into 1 MGD of water. 1 MGD of water provides water for about 28,500 people. That means when we are short of our water supply by 100 MGD, that is 28 lakh people who are getting affected every day by this water shortage. I, as the water minister, have already tried everything that is within my powers. I have written to the Haryana Chief Minister. I spoke to the Himachal Chief Minister. They were willing to give us extra water. But that also has to pass through Haryana, and Haryana is not agreeing to give extra water. I went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court accepted the fact that there is a water crisis in Delhi, yet Haryana is not giving any water. All senior officials of the Delhi government went to meet all the senior officers of the Haryana government yesterday, asking them to release this 100 MGD of water for Delhi. But Haryana government did not agree. Our MLAs went to meet the central water minister. He did not meet them. Now please tell me, I as the water minister of Delhi, how long can I see the people of Delhi suffer? 28 lakh people in Delhi are suffering because there is not enough water in Delhi.
But if I may stop you for a moment, that when you're, if I may stop you for just a moment, ma'am.
Yes.
If I may stop you for just a moment, your entire basic answer seems to be that the Haryana government is not passing the water that you believe is due to Delhi. On the other hand, the BJP government at the center is accusing you of mismanagement, saying the Delhi Jal Board, for example, is a department of the Delhi government. According to the BJP MP Manoj Tiwari, what kind of water minister of Delhi is Atishi, only to sell water to the tanker mafias? Now respond to what, you see, the center is saying it's so mismanagement by Delhi.
I'll give you a very simple calculation, Rajdeep. As per the standards set by the United Nations, every person requires 150 liters of water for dignified existence. Now, Delhi, it is estimated, has a sort of a population of approximately 3 crores. If you multiply that 3 crores by 150, it translates into approximately 950 to 980, 990 million gallons of water that is required to meet the minimum requirements of Delhi every single day. Now, at this moment, the 1050 MGD of water that Delhi gets as its raw water supply, out of that 613 comes from Haryana. They are only releasing 513. So I, as the water minister, instead of producing 1050 million gallons of water, 1005 million gallons of water, I am producing 95 million gallons less. I am not able to produce any water, I am not able to supply any water because I am not getting any raw water from Haryana. The only water supply that I have that I can pass on to the people of Delhi comes from the Yamuna. The Yamuna has no water in it. If 100 million gallons of water of our water supply are reduced every day, what kind of management can make up this gap? Please tell me that.
No, so surely therefore, ma'am.
What water will get treated in our water treatment plant?
No, surely therefore, ma'am, in peak summer with a few days left still to go for hopefully the monsoon to come, could there have been any attempt made in advance, recognizing that there could be a crisis in peak summer where you, the Haryana government, the Himachal government, the centre had all got together and tried to resolve it? I've seen this happen with air pollution. Now we are seeing it with water. The problem seems to be the unwillingness of these governments to coordinate with each other to find plans. Surely that's the solution, to find ways preempting the possibility of a crisis.
Rajdeep, that is exactly what we did. Delhi government and Himachal Pradesh government signed an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, that all the surplus water from the Himachal share of the Yamuna water would come to Delhi. All of this information and this memorandum of understanding was submitted to the Upper Yamuna River Board. But Haryana government has stood in obstruction there also. They are not willing to recognize this memorandum of understanding. The Upper Yamuna River Board, which is basically the government of India, is not willing to take a stand. Now, in this condition, what can the people of Delhi do? If Himachal wants to give water, that water has to come through Haryana. There is no other route for that water to come to Delhi. Haryana is not giving water. They are not letting the water of Himachal pass through. The government of India is not taking a stand. The water minister refuses to meet Delhi MLAs who go to meet him. So what can I do as the water minister?
So are you saying Haryana is lying, ma'am?
I am requested
Are you saying Haryana is lying, therefore, when it says that enough water is being provided according to water sharing agreements? You're saying that's a bald lie? Is that what you're saying?
What is the measurement? What is the measurement? What is the measurement, Rajdeep? Haryana does not have a single flow meter at the entry of Hathni Kund barrage and at the exit of Hathni Kund barrage. Hathni Kund barrage is the most important water reservoir in this Upper Yamuna region. That is the water reservoir from which water goes to UP, to Uttarakhand, to Himachal Pradesh, to Delhi, to Haryana. But in the year 2024, the Haryana government does not keep a single flow meter. Delhi has flow meters at the point where the Munnak Canal comes in. We have proper gauges at the point at Wazirabad barrage. They are both clearly showing that inadequate water is coming.
Water
production cannot reduce by 100 million gallons per day.
Okay, so while Haryana has some
reduction in the amount of raw water we are getting.
Haryana has much to answer, what does Delhi?
Either you are saying,
yes.
Wait a second, let me complete.
Yes.
Let me complete. Either you are saying that we are getting water, but we are not treating it and supplying it, we are hiding it away somewhere. Otherwise, what is the reason that our water treatment plants are producing 100 million gallons less of water every day? It is because we are not getting that water from the Yamuna. And no amount of management can change the fact that there is no water for 28 lakh residents of Delhi today. And it is only Haryana that can provide that water, and they are refusing to do so.
Is there
Now,
a
why
role,
the
is
Haryana
there a role
government is
though of the
refusing to
tanker
provide this
mafia,
water?
man?
Why is the
Is
government
there a
of
role of the tanker mafia as well? The Supreme Court has raised the issue of the tanker mafia. You've alleged in the court that senior officials are colluding with the mafia to reduce the number of tankers. You're demanding. Is this a multiple problem or is this a single issue problem of the Haryana government?
Rajdeep, this is a single issue problem of the Haryana government. Please understand the mathematics. 1050 MGD is the total water production of Delhi. Okay? Now, yes, million gallons per day is produced. Sorry, 1005. 1005 million gallons per day is the water production of Delhi. Right? Out of this 1005 million gallons per day, we get 613 million gallons from Haryana via the Yamuna. One at the Wazirabad barrage, one at Munnak Canal. Instead of 613 million gallons, we are getting 513 million gallons. If I am getting 100 million gallons less of water, and 1 million gallon of water provides for 28,500 people every day. Obviously, if 100 million gallons of water are less, that means 28 lakh people do not have water. We do not have water to provide for them.
So what's the...
Whatever management I do, however much leakage I may prevent, 28 lakh people of Delhi will not have water unless Haryana government releases water in the Yamuna. Now, I have tried every way possible. I have written to the Haryana government, I have written to the central government, I have been to the Supreme Court. I have not been able to get water for the people of Delhi, and that is the reason why I have said I have no other choice left. I am going on indefinite hunger strike because now I cannot see the people of Delhi suffer anymore.
Okay.
Where are these 28 lakh people of Delhi going to get water from? Who is going to give them water? If Government of India is not intervening, if Haryana government is refusing to send water, what is the solution for water for these 28 lakh residents of Delhi? Please tell me.
Okay. Those are your strong words that you're giving me on the show today. You're squarely blaming the Haryana government for it. But as we are seeing, we are facing this unprecedented water crisis at the moment. And you've given us your perspective. Appreciate you joining me, Atishi, there on the show today. Thank you so much. Let's widen this debate. As I said, it's not just Delhi, but several parts of the country this summer have seen water crisis. And as the heat wave in parts of the country has intensified, that crisis has got worsened. What are the solutions? Joining me now, our expert, Shilp Verma, is Deputy Country Representative India at the International Water Management Institute. S. Vishwanath is Advisor, Environmental Trust, Water Systems Researcher. Nitin Basi is Senior Program Lead, Sustainable Water, Council of Energy, Environment and Water. And Raj Bhagat is Palanichami, Senior Manager, Sustainable Cities in the country. I appreciate all of you joining us on the show today. Let me come to each of you to understand from you what you think is a solution. Forget the politics for a moment, because it's not just Delhi, across the country. I was in Bengaluru in April and we saw water crisis in parts of Bengaluru as well. Shilp Verma, is this a crisis that's getting worse by the year? Water tables are receding in several parts of the country, and therefore in peak summer there are no alternative solutions being provided beyond just relying in Delhi, in the case of Yamuna, in the case of Bengaluru on the Kaveri, and that water supply is declining year by year.
Thanks, Rajdeep. Yes, I mean, the problem is becoming worse by the day. Partly it is because of climate change and the growing demand, the heat wave you already mentioned. But I think partly it's also mismanagement. And I will leave the politics aside, as you suggested. But I think that the minister has only talked about half the problem. The water needs of Delhi are met by surface water supplied from the Yamuna. But there's also a big component of groundwater, which is locally pumped. And that meets 40 to 45% of the needs. And I think that is what we have been mismanaging for the last 20, 30 years. And we are seeing the results now. That used to act as a buffer. When surface water supplies were diminished or limited, then the city could depend on its local groundwater reserves to yield over the crisis. But now those reserves are kind of emptying.
And is that because of
we've been
untrammeled
mismanaging
construction? Is that primarily because of untrammeled construction?
It is construction, so that has reduced the natural recharge, but it's also over pumping. I mean, we've seen the kind of construction we've had in the parts of Delhi. If you look at Gurgaon, with a little bit of rainfall, there is flooding everywhere. And yet the groundwater tables are going deeper every day.
Right.
So we have badly mismanaged this crucial resource. Two things. One, we've mismanaged groundwater, and two, we've not managed rainwater well enough. And I'm sure my co-panelists will also talk about it more, how Bangalore is trying to do
Let me go to them to look at S. Vishwanath, advisor Biome, your environmentalist. Tell us what, according to you, is the solution. Let's look for solutions. Most people believe groundwater tables declining across the country, across our cities, and you cannot only rely now on the traditional water sources, whether you're in a Mumbai, Bengaluru, Delhi, any city of the country.
Right. But first, Rajdeep, we need assured water supply for our cities from a designated source, be it a river or a dam or a reservoir, as it may be. The city needs to know that it will get this much volume of water in a particular season, right, in a particular month, so that they can plan. But within that, the cities, as my co-panelist was pointing out, has to look at 6 taps. The first tap is rainwater. It has to do a lot better in harvesting rainwater. The second tap is lakes, streams, and surface water. That needs to be locally managed so that it supplements the pipe water which comes from rivers. The third is groundwater. We don't have groundwater management plans for our cities. We need to create the institutional framework for understanding groundwater better and managing it better. The fourth, very important one, is used water or wastewater. Treated wastewater is now increasingly seen as a source, and with dual plumbing lines can easily replace non-potable water in our cities and has to be planned for. Delhi has more than 2,000 million liters per day of treated wastewater. That should be brought to productive use. The fifth, of course, is pipe water, which comes from rivers or reservoirs or Kaveri in Bangalore. The sixth, most important, is demand management. Now, if Delhi were to tighten its belt by 10%, which is the shortfall in water, some water for all, it could try and distribute the water, the remaining water, to everybody, provided everybody is connected to the network. Universal coverage, regular water supply, 100 liters per capita per day assured water supply, and 150 when it's the season of plenty is the way to look at it, with all the 6 taps in consideration.
Very interesting solutions there being offered by you, Mr. Vishwanath. Nitin Bassi, Senior Program Lead, Sustainable Water, the Council on Energy, Environment and Water. Is this a problem that's going to worsen with time given climate change, or do you believe that there are solutions out there?
Yeah, no, Rajdeep, I think you're very right. I mean, the problem is going to increase in the future. I mean, we already see what climate change has done in terms of increase in temperature across. You know, you see hills, you see plains. It is same everywhere. Now, if I talk about water, you know, there are 3 main, approaches that usually are taken. Traditionally, we have been busy augmenting supplies. So, this is usually the approach whenever the shortage is felt. Then, of course, we have to plug the losses wherever the losses are happening in the system. And in cities, the supply losses are close to 40 to 60% of the supply. So even if Delhi says that, about 1,000 mgd of water is supplied, at the user end, the water which is reaching must be only 60 to 70% of it. The third approach, which my co-panelists also mentioned, is about how we can ensure reuse of treated wastewater or used water. I think this is one area which is least explored. Now, let me provide you a bit of more context, taking Delhi as an example. Now, even if we continue to, focus on augmenting the supply, I mean, in future, we are looking at, Renuka Dam to fulfill Delhi needs. But going by the estimate, that dam is not going to be ready by 2030. The construction has not started. It will take 2 more years for Delhi to receive water from the Renuka Dam. So we are looking at supply from Renuka Dam by 2032. What does it mean? Shall we continue to live with water deficit? No. We have to plug the losses which are happening in the system. I understand that Delhi government has taken initiative to install bulk flow meter, which can actually make us understand where the losses are happening when it is supplied to the system. But then it has to move. I mean, we need to understand the status of the installation and what actions have been taken to plug the losses.
But,
and
go ahead.
And the last bit is about the treated wastewater reuse. Delhi uses only 10% of its treated wastewater, which is very low considering the scarcity that we feel in Delhi.
You're giving us the bigger picture, and I'm going to come to that accountability question in a moment, which will again draw us into politics. But Raj Bhagat Palanichami, your senior manager, Sustainable Cities, WRI India, give us a sense. Is this a problem confined to Delhi? Is it spreading across the country? Is it even worse in some of the smaller cities like the Punes, which have expanded, dare I call it a small city anymore, expanded so rapidly that there will come a water crunch in these cities even faster?
Right. Thank you, Rajdeep. Actually, that is a very important thing because, whenever there is a crisis in Delhi or Bengaluru, it comes to the news media. That is how it happens. Whenever there is an event happening in some smaller cities, it never comes to limelight. I mean, it doesn't mean that it is going to spread to other places. It is already there. Only thing is, in these years, we are a little bit focused towards Delhi or Bengaluru. And always it's, the focus is always on these months when the crisis is at its acute stage. So, I mean, it's more like once the disease has crossed and you have seen the victims' damage and everything, only after that we are reacting or we are responding to everything. So the thing is that across India, irrespective of the state, irrespective of the city, we don't have a proper plan for this.
Yeah, but
management.
Delhi,
I think
Delhi
I actually
particularly,
agree. Yeah.
You see, Delhi particularly at the moment has a problem because we are dependent, Shilp Verma, largely also on water that comes in from Himachal. And you've heard the minister saying Haryana is not giving us water. Now, surely water belongs to every Indian citizen. It cannot just be a particular state which insists that the water they will first fulfill their needs and then give it to the other riparian states. And that has become a problem over the years. Is there a solution? Should Haryana be made by the Supreme Court to ensure that Delhi gets its water supply?
I think there is some kind of fighting over water going on in different parts of the country. But the long-term solution is for every city, metro cities at least, to take lead and say we can become water positive. I think Delhi cannot just keep saying that Haryana must supply water. It also has to take its own initiative to say, okay, if we are using 1,000 million gallons of water every year or every day, then we are also going to do something in upstream states to replenish that water resource, either by harvesting more water or by recycling our own water, as the co-panelists talked about. That's the way to create water. We cannot create more rainfall, but we can create water by reusing the water that we're using. For every 1,000 million gallons that we use every day, about 80% of that is generated as wastewater. And why can't Delhi treat it? I think cities like Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai and Mumbai should take lead in saying we will become water positive cities and show that as an example for the rest of the country and the world.
How easy is that, S. Vishwanath, to make water recycling the solution for the future? Is it easy given the sprawling size of our cities, the demands that are being made by citizens, the fact that you have this unregulated construction in different parts of India over water bodies that have existed for centuries?
Yeah, so it is difficult. It's not easy. Cities are growing and growing rapidly, but most importantly, they're growing without a master plan in place. A lot of the city's growth is in the periphery, which is informal, not regulated, very dense, and very difficult to get water supply and sanitation services there. So we need comprehensive master planning and at least some form of planning where a majority of the population live in areas which are planned for, infrastructure-wise and land use-wise. But within that, cities themselves are now decentralizing their wastewater treatment plants. Bangalore will have 59 wastewater treatment plants by the end of this year. So therefore, treated wastewater will be available locally. It can be used to refill lakes and wetlands. so that they recharge aquifers and then become potable water after treatment to be supplied to the city. If not for potable supply, for non-potable supply. It's not rocket science, can be done. But we need to change our institutions. For example, Delhi still calculates in gallons. Who on earth in India calculates in gallons? Everybody is shifted to liters. We have 20th century institutions, unfortunately. We need 21st century institutions which are in tune with managing groundwater, managing reused water, managing wetlands and rivers and lakes. None of our water bodies and utilities have anything except expertise in sending piped water supply. We need to make them well-rounded and we need to financially empower them.
Right.
You can't have a system where people get free water forever and the institutions are broke. Unless the institutions have money, they cannot invest in repairing the leaks or extending the infrastructure. So let's think about our institutions well.
I want to leave it there. I wish we had more time on this discussion, but clearly I hope some of the suggestions that are being put forward and all the expertise that I've just seen is used by government. These are areas where you need private-public partnerships. And therefore, rather than Haryana, Himachal and Delhi fighting with each other, why not involve experts as well, find alternatives and stop the politics? Haryana must recognize that the water that is coming from the Himalayas doesn't belong to a state, it belongs to the people of this country. And hopefully we will find solutions as climate change particularly is a major concern. Thank you all very much for joining me here on our discussion with your viewpoints. I want to turn from there to our political controversial newsmaker of the day. JDU MP and a senior MP at that, Devesh Chandra Thakur, has sparked a controversy. In a viral video, the JDU MP was heard saying that Yadavs and Muslims did not vote for him in his Sitamarhi constituency, so he will not be entertaining any demands made by these communities for projects to be done. He's not alone. Giriraj Singh, the minister, has backed the JDU MP, saying that Thakur is heartbroken because of a shrinkage in his vote share of Muslims and Yadavs. He also said these were all conspiracies against Sanatan Dharma and therefore no vote, no work. Listen in.
तीर दबाकर मेरे लिए आप तीर दबाते तो आपको उस तीर में नरेंद्र मोदी का चेहरा दिखाई देता, इसलिए अपने लंटेन दबाए। तो अगर यही बात है तो मैं आपके काम करते वक्त आपके चेहरे पे लंटेन और लालू जी का चेहरा क्यों नहीं देखूं? 70 साल का उम्र हो गया मेरा, ये पहली बार कर रहा हूं, बड़े दुख के साथ कर रहा हूं, लेकिन कर रहा हूं और करूंगा। मेरे यहाँ हर एक मेरे मित्र यादव मित्र का स्वागत है। जो मित्र नहीं है पहले बार भी आना चाहते हैं, उनका स्वागत है। यादवों का और मुसलमानों का आइए, चाय पीजिए, मिठाई खाइए, काम के बारे में मत बोलिए, मैं आपका काम नहीं करूंगा।
हिंदू मुसलमान इंडिया पाकिस्तान करते रहेंगे कि ये भैंस खोल के उसको दे देगा, ये प्रॉपर्टी आपको, तो उसके नतीजे में देवेश चंद्र ठाकुर जैसे लोग मिलते हैं। उनको लगता है कि ये नॉर्मल है। इतनी विद्वेषपूर्ण बात है, मतलब संसदीय लोकतंत्र की मर्यादा कहाँ आ गई? सब तार तार है। 5,15,000 लोगों ने इनको वोट दिया है और तकरीबन मैं समझता हूँ 6 लाख लोगों ने इनको वोट नहीं दिया, जिसमें 470 के आधार पर अर्जुन राय जी को मिला हमारे दल से जो थे। यानी उसके सांसद कोई और हो जाएंगे क्या? ये कौन सी जुबान है? ये कौन सी सोच है? मुझे तो आश्चर्य है कि नीतीश जी की तरफ से कोई प्रतिक्रिया क्यों नहीं आई।
Let me go straight to our newsmaker tonight, JDU MP Devesh Chandra Thakur, who stoked that controversy. Mr. Thakur, I've known you for many years. I've seen you now on a video saying that you will not work or don't come to me for any work to Muslims and Yadavs in your area in Sitamarhi. And the reason you're saying is because you believe they didn't vote for you in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections. Is this an emotional outburst? Are you just speaking your heart out? And in the process, do you recognize what you've gone and done? Are you dividing the people based on who votes for you and who doesn't, sir?
No, definitely it was an emotional outburst to begin with, because these are the two communities I have worked most closely with and closely for and mostly for. Now, when an elected representative does not do good work in his constituency, the people of the constituency definitely get angry and they say, let him come next time, we will not vote for him. So if I work for some people and they do not respond, naturally I will feel hurt and I'll speak out my sentiments. But
Sir,
my relationships with them are far too old, far too close. They are more than 20, 25 years old.
Sorry,
That is still remaining today and that will continue. That's a different thing.
Mr. Thakur, the fact is you are a senior MP and you are quoted in that video of an anecdote where you say a person from the Muslim community came to me for some work. I clearly told him that he had come for the first time, so I won't say much. Otherwise, I won't let go easily. I asked him if he voted for the RJD. He agreed. I told him have tea and leave. Are you saying to me today on this show that a Muslim who has voted for the RJD, who's your constituent, you won't do his work because he hasn't voted for you? You represent everyone in Sitamarhi, sir, not just those who voted for you. I'm putting the headline. What kind of
journey
no work?
Where I go on doing things for you and you, when your time comes, you say, sorry, I'm not going to do anything. It can't be a one-way journey. But this gentleman whom you're quoting, that's a separate thing. He had come to me for the first time. That was more of a lighter moment, this thing. The fact is, I was emotionally I am emotionally hurt, because when you work most amongst all the people, all the representatives here, when you work most for them, when the time comes, you are neglected like anything. Then it's then naturally you'll have an emotional outburst from me.
Sir, what kind of emotions are these? I'm a human being. I'm sorry, Mr. Thakur, what kind of emotions are these? What you have said will only end up widening the divide in your constituency between those who have voted for you and those who haven't, and between communities. How do you then expect the Muslim and Yadav community to respond to you and respect you if you make such public statements? You're supposed to be a responsible member of parliament, sir.
I have been working for them for the last 25 years. How long do you want me to go on working for them without taking any response from them? I must tell them how I feel.
Because you are a member of parliament for all Indians.
When, as I told you, when your elected representative does not do anything for you, don't you get angry? Don't you say that let him come this time, we'll show him, teach him a lesson?
No.
Why do you do that then? Why don't you keep quiet? So it can't be a one-way journey. That's what I'm saying. See, but as I said, I have a lot of respect for everyone in my constituency, and all the time I have said anyone coming to me for public work is always most welcome. Even now they are welcome. They are most welcome. That I will continue. That is my duty as a public representative.
Mr. Thakur, sir, with due regard, your government keeps saying Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. That's what the Prime Minister says. Would you agree, therefore, that every person in your constituency has to be treated equally, irrespective of whether they voted for you or not? I mean, this is a very divisive mindset that you're revealing when you're saying I will differentiate between Yadavs, Muslims who didn't vote for me and the rest of the voters. I mean, where is the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas then?
No. It's not Muslims and Yadavs. Any section who would not have voted for me, and if I have worked for them and then they have not voted for me, I would have felt the same thing. But this time, what is the reason that you haven't voted for me? After all, if I ask you, what is the reason that you haven't voted for me? What is the reason? I have worked for you. I have worked for you the most. You have benefited from me immensely all the time. Publicly what I'm saying. Then what is the reason you haven't voted for me? If I ask you a question, then what is your reply? Let me know.
Now, I'll tell you what the reply could be. You could have easily said, I am the JDU candidate who was contesting from Sitamarhi, whose ally is the BJP. And the BJP, I'm afraid, Mr. Thakur, is seen in some way by the Muslim community as having not done enough for them. That's how they perceive the party. Yadavs believe that Lalu Prasad Yadav is their leader. Muslims may see the BJP as anti-Muslim. The fact is they are entitled to vote for whom they want. That doesn't mean you as an MP don't work for them. Whoever they vote for. Tomorrow tomorrow can a Congress MP go and say, I will not do work for or any party's MP for those who don't vote for them. This is not about a party. It's about the system, about the constitution. You're obliged to vote, to work for all, sir. And every Indian is not obliged to vote only for you.
If so, then why do you come to me for work at all? Then why do you come to me for work for the last 20 years?
Sir, they are coming to you because they have elected you. You are the elected representative of Sitamarhi in Bihar.
If I have been with the JDU from the last 20 years, then you know that I am going to be contesting from the this alliance with Mr. Narendra Modi. Then why do you come to me for work? It's not, it can't be like that. It can't be a one-way affair. It can't be a one-way affair.
Sir, you keep saying, through this interview, you've said politics can't be a one-way affair. That those who you do work for have to vote for you. That as if people who you do some work for, their vote is something they are obligated to do. Once, sir, I repeat, you become an elected representative, you cannot claim to be a representative only of those who voted for you. You are supposed to be the representative, I believe, under the constitution of every citizen of Sitamarhi. By making such comments, you're sending out terrible signals.
Why don't you ask the RJD people and the RJD voters whether they do that? Have you ever asked an RJD leader or the RJD voter whether they do this, they follow this principle that you are trying to teach me?
Sir, are you telling me that RJD people also only do work for Muslims and Yadavs? Is that what you're saying? At least they haven't publicly said so, even if they end up working for Muslims and Yadavs. The fact is they may have got their work, but whether it's an RJD MP or whether it's a JDU, BJP MP or a Congress MP, you're supposed to work for all. I think let's agree at least on the principle, Mr. Thakur, about what the Constitution is all about.
Yeah, they don't work for anyone. Forget the Muslims and Yadav also. They don't work for anyone at all. They don't work for anyone at all.
Sir,
let's
not lighten it, sir. The RJD leader Mrityunjay Tiwari has said your comments are casteist. Your own BJP ally, OBC Morcha National General Secretary Nikhil Anand says no political party can ignore Yadavs, who comprise 14% of Bihar's population. Has your statement in some way damaged your own image as a senior leader and that of your party, the JDU, which today is in alliance with the BJP?
No, it won't do any damage. As I told you, my relationships with both these communities are equally good even today. It will remain so in future. I have done so much for them. I have never stopped. I have never closed my door for them. It will never be closed for them. Forget that. That's a different thing. But when you hurt me, it is my emotional outburst. I will definitely say what I have said.
You're calling it emotional outburst again. I'm asking you one last time, because you are known for having pioneered the idea of Bihar Divas, which was many believed was inclusive. This was not expected of a political leader of your stature. Will you today on this show offer some kind of an apology or retraction at least?
No, there's no question of apology. I have not said anything wrong. I have not said it in the... I have said they are welcome. They are welcome for the work, public work that they want to come to me. Absolutely. Anytime. I have said again and again. Not today, even before when I gave the statement first. They are welcome to me for any public work they want to come. I have always said that. I've always said that.
Okay, let me leave it there. Devesh Chandra Thakur, you're not apologizing. You're clarifying, dare I say, what you said. Either way, it sounds like an extremely unfortunate and, dare I say, unconstitutional remark that you made. I do hope that you will sleep over what you've said and what you've said to me on this program and what you said at that rally. I appreciate you joining me.